announcement from Benjamin C. Steele talking to you about wearing a mask. Not this one, but this one. With everything going on right now with this pandemic, you need to wear a mask. My mask is for your safety. Your mask is for mine. I don't care what your uncles, brothers, best friends, mailman's roommate from college put on social media. Chances are they didn't think it through, and there's a very better than average chance that they're an idiot. So when you go outside, you put on your little mask over your face, put the little straps around your ears, and we're all going to be a lot safer. This is a team.
Mercer, one half of the tag team champions. I'm here to tell you that if you want to be a champion, if you want to survive this thing, wear your freaking mask, okay? It comes in all different colors. You can get Eclipse Blue, JC White and Black, or even hell, Blue and Gold. But guys, please, also remember, please, it goes over the nose. Over the nose. Thank you.
What's up? It's the Gigabyte Grizzly Brohemon, and this is a messed up time we live in, so I need you all to do me a favor. Wear your mask. Like this, not like this, or like this, or like this, like this. Wear your mask. It's for your safety and mine. Because if I see you without one, I'm gonna pump kick a mask onto your face. Got it?
Parental discretion is advised.
This show is brought to you by IndieWrestling.us and IndieWrestling.network for your independent wrestling entertainment. Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza. Just Pro Wrestling News Podcast. No filler, no pop-ups. Production services by Sidekick Media Services. And listeners like you, supporting us at patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show.
Just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Don't give up what you want, take it back.
It's the Wrestling Mayhem Show, 781 Tuesdays. We've been talking about professionalized wrestling. I'm Mike Sorg at Sorgatron on the Twitter here in the Sorgatron Media Studios in Pittsburgh, PA, Podcast Central. And we got an exciting one here. First of all, coming up in just a little bit, Jock Samson, the Pro Wrestling Conquest Imperial Champion, will be joining us momentarily. But first, let's get down the crew. First of all, from Beacon, New York, he's the only Mayhemmer with a future endeavored letter from the WWE. He is Mad Mike.
Doing my Adam Cole dance.
You are doing? Is that an Adam Cole dance? Like,
as an if you watch the party,
is
Sorg,
that the feelings or
Sorg, if you watch over a year of Uno, you would know.
Oh, I got you.
And it's in memoriam.
Yes. Yes. I mean, you're more broken up about up, down, down.
R.I.P. the party. R.I.P. Adam Cole and the bye-byes.
It's a shame.
It's all sad.
It's a shame.
It's all sadness.
It's a shame. Like so,
sadness rules over the land.
As wonderful new possibilities arise, we miss what was.
As soon as they get their own custom Uno deck, he leaves. Adam Cole really is a scumbag.
I got some other ideas. You got me.
Really
you got me with some other ideas. Also, with his toy collector extraordinaire, and who's held, I think, almost every position in professional wrestling. Ronnie Starks.
Hello, everyone.
I look forward to the debut of valet Ronnie Starks.
He's kind of been a valet. Yeah, you've been a valet before.
Manager is the same thing.
Manager and valet are not the same thing.
Well, then, God damn it, I guess I got to be a valet.
Well, then we just got to get you an evening gown and throw you out there with maybe our guest for tonight could use a manager. I don't know. So, also with us from the West Coast, representing OccupyProWrestling.com, powered to the smarks on the Twitter, Alex Kahrs is with us, back again from his control room over there.
Hi. Yeah, hi. It's been a while since I've been on the first half. I'm so used to waiting till Mania. And when I realized that you were introducing me, like, wait a minute, and realized what. Hi, it's good to be on again.
There you go, doing some great stuff. I know you're doing some great stuff over on Twitch lately. So with Occupy Pro Wrestling.
Well, yeah, we've also finally decided to live out the joke of being on TikTok. So that's a thing.
To
put it mildly.
There you go. Well, anyways, this is the Wrestling Mayhem Show. You can check out everything at WrestlingMayhemShow.com. Hit us up at that email address. Good times at WrestlingMayhemShow.com. One day we'll have people in the studio where everybody can be synchronized, but not on Zoom. I'm sorry. Also, 412-206-WMS0 is the hotline, which you already have under Drunk Dial or your ex-girlfriend's phone number. But anyways, tweet us at Mayhem Show, Wrestling Mayhem Show Facebook page and group. And we're live every Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern on Facebook Live, on the Wrestling Mayhem Show YouTube page, and on the Sorgatron Media Twitch page. However you like to check that out. And I see a bunch of our friends from the West Coast, Tina Keys, Alex Miller out there in the chat room, Dave Potter, who just actually joined us on a pretty fun Awesome Cast earlier this evening as well. So go check that out. Drop if you can join us live on Tuesdays and make that appointment viewing. You can be part of that chat room and give us some direct feedback. But please also subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast provider, wherever that may be. Please rate, review, and of course, video versions as well. And of course, thank you to our Patreon supporters helping keep the servers going, the lights on in the studio at patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show. Our friends at the fan of the show level, Bo Diggity! Woo! As well as Ed Burke, Team Hammerfist, and at the Pop Club level, our friends Dave Potter and Alex at OccupyWrestling.com. At the Pete's Club level, Doc Remedy, Kyle Turner, the Riz of Riz Plays Games on Twitch, and Bobby F. J. Town. And at the manager level, Bradley. Don't call me Butts Brothers. And
no, we call him Butts.
Yes, and Tina Keys. I'm just reading the note here, Mike. So
That's
it doesn't
fine.
mean that
I
it's
make
right.
I make addendums.
And so you guys can support the show too. Get some extra content that we record every once in a while at patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show. Actually, there's some stuff from Daniel Eads I did not post yet. That's in the hopper. Hopefully, we'll get that out here this week to you guys too, because we had some extra conversation around that. So. Well, I got a note here. Pro Wrestling Conquest has a big show coming up this next week with book more tag teams, you cowards, and of course, and then I got a note from The Office at Pro Wrestling Conquest that says I was legally required. I don't know, to sign David Lawless here to have our guest. Although we will welcome him with open arms. He's a good, longtime friend of the show. Joining us right now, Jock Samson, the Imperial champion at Pro Wrestling Conquest, is joining us. Jock, are you on the line here with us?
Yeah, I'm right here, man. It's a little late here. I'm, started drinking a little late today, later than I usually do. So I'm just sitting out here relaxing in my garage that I own, unlike majority of professional wrestlers out there live in fucking apartments and they don't know how to mow their fucking grass or anything. But it's a wonderful day to be on your show, and I appreciate it very much.
So this is a big show coming up. First of all, you're the Imperial champion for
Yes.
Conquest. I've never seen an Imperial champion with pro wrestling groups.
Well, that's because I'm the champion. Like, if you really think about emperors in pro wrestling, when you think of West Virginia, you think of me, the emperor of West Virginia. I am the Darth Vader of professional fucking wrestling in West Virginia.
I think you need to change. You need to change your theme music, I think, a little bit there, right? So
No. I'm gonna keep Ronnie Millsap, man. There ain't nothing better than the sap. I mean, the only difference between me and Darth Vader is he's got asthma and I don't.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
So, yeah, I'm the Imperial champion of Pro Wrestling Conquest, which means I am the best wrestler in the state of West Virginia. That's exactly what that means. And Pro Wrestling Conquest is the #1 up-and-coming promotion in West Virginia, the Midwest, the East Coast. The shit they're doing is on fire, and it just happens to be that I'm the guy on top.
And I believe, have you been there since day one with Conquest? At least very early, correct?
Well, I wasn't on the first show. I was on their second show, and after that, they tried to get me, but I'm a man about. They used me a good bit everywhere in the world. But then once I realized that Conquest was a good place to be, then I started adjusting my schedule around.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely a group that the crowd has been growing. So in Conquest, and we'll show a little bit of footage is on video of what that looks like down there. I think this is going into your match with Danhausen, actually. So you are teamed up there with, of course, David Lawless. I know you got some history up here in the Pittsburgh area with, and of course Ryan Edmonds, who we're very familiar with at RWA. So tell people that don't know, like, what is The Office? What are you guys doing there in Conquest?
We are the gold standard in pro wrestling in West Virginia. We're three guys who are very familiar with each other, real good friends. We all hang out afterwards, and we realize that together nobody there can beat us anywhere. I've known David when I was a regulator, when we were regulators. And there's not a person I trust more to handle all my, judicial needs. Like, he is a consigliere of Jock Samson. He is my consigliere. And then Ryan Edmonds, me and him go back 15, 20 years. And there's not a guy, if I was in a bar tomorrow night or tonight that if shit went down, that I would like to have right there with me. He is that guy. The three of us together are mighty as one. But to be fair, none of us need each other to win. It's just nice to have around to watch each other's back because you got a piece of shit like Cole Karter and his store-bought muscles, and got to keep him and his family from fucking touching me and shit.
Yeah, we've filmed a couple of Cole Karter's matches. The family does come out and is a very strong voice out there for sure. And is that his mother that gets involved from time to time?
That's his mom.
Yeah.
His mom thinks she's tough as hell. She ain't. She's a hillbilly from Sissonville, West Virginia. She probably just got shoes last week. I don't get it. Honestly, let me ask you guys, what is it that Cole Karter is doing that's making people go, ooh? And I could tell you why, but I want to hear what you guys got to say. What is about Cole Karter that makes him so special?
I think it's the hair. Is my side of things, and these guys aren't quite as familiar with Cole Karter, I think, unless you guys. Cole Karter has obviously made some appearances on AEW Dark in the last couple of months too, but I mean, he's only like a year in the business as well, right?
Yeah. Well, he's about a year in. So Cole Karter looks like $10 million. Okay, and he is a tough kid.
Oh, for sure.
He's a very fine professional wrestler. But he's getting all these opportunities all across the world. I've been wrestling for 15 years. I've been beating the shit out of everybody. But I'm not going to get an opportunity. For one, probably because my physique, I have a beer gut, but I am strong as a bull moose. I can shoulder press 285 pounds over the top of my head. I got calves the size of Montana. My quads are as big as Texas. But everyone just can't get past the fact that I have this big, huge beer gut that I just nonstop drink. And you know what? That doesn't make me less of an athlete than him. I throw a better drop kick than he does, but I don't have to do it because I'm not a fucking show-off like Cole Karter. It should honestly be me wrestling on AEW, getting all these spots on AEW. I've been all over the goddamn world. I wrestled the fucking honky-tonk, man, and I ain't on goddamn fucking TV. Cole Karter gets to wrestle me once. That motherfucker's all over TV because someone up there likes the way he looks. It's about attraction, not skill. If it was about skill, I'd be on there tomorrow. I'd be on there right now.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not like with wrestling we don't have, let's say, quote unquote, real men's bodies represented. Trevor Murdoch just winning the NWA championship just last week, for instance.
Yeah, like 1 in a million. 1 in a million. There ain't no one in wrestling right now that's going to out charisma me, going to out fucking personality. I can't even fucking say it. No one's got more personality than me. No one can walk into a goddamn bar in pro wrestling right now and clean that motherfucker out but me. I don't sit around playing fucking video games. I don't do comic books. I don't do Dungeons and Dragons. I don't sit around and do cosplay shit. I don't do none of that. You know what I do? I own a home. I work on my tractor. I fix my tractor. I work on my truck. I fix my truck. I'm blue collar. And I think a lot of people out there have prejudice against people that grew up in the country. Cole Karter comes dressed in them pretty tights. He tries to freaking hide the fact that he's from West Virginia. He's embarrassed the fact that he's from West Virginia. He covers up the fact that he's blue collar. I am blue collar as it gets. I am a redneck. And there's a lot of misconceptions out there that people, when they think of me, they automatically believe what they think. They think Jock Samson's a bigot. Well, Jock Samson ain't no bigot. Jock Samson's live free and die hard motherfucker. I don't give a fuck what people do in their free personal fucking time. I don't give a shit as long as it don't affect me. But people are going to have their misconceptions about me, and for the most part, they can just go fuck off. I don't care about them. I don't care if anything bad happens to them. They can kiss my ass. But it's the God's honest truth. I'm being held back because people that live in the country, there's a lot of prejudice towards us because of some shitheads that live around here. Nobody wants a fucking... I'm a real life fucking country boy, okay? There ain't no fucking playing around on that. I'm not some guy playing a fucking gimmick.
So
it ain't no fucking gimmick.
You're saying you're trying to raise up the name of the country boy in professional wrestling in the world right now?
Well, I'm not really trying to do any. I'm trying to bring my name up.
Yeah.
I just happen to be a country boy. You know, I did 4-H growing up. You know, I had cows. Shit, I go deer hunting. I know a lot of people probably mad because poor mean Jock Samson kills fucking Bambi. You know, let me just say this. If I hid and lied about who I was, I probably would have got a lot further.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of bias and prejudice towards country people because, to be fair, a lot of people who live in the country are very backward with their thought process, like people of West Virginia. They're very backward in their thought process. You know, they're backward as they have teeth. They don't have very many fucking teeth. I'm from Ohio. I live in southeastern Ohio where us country people are educated. You know, but then you got a guy like Karter who's just trying to prove that I'm just not country. I'm like everyone else. Watch me do these fucking stupid backflips. Watch me do these fucking moves that make no fucking sense. I do less than anybody in wrestling, and I get more out of it than that fucking Karter anybody. Trust me, I do less and get more out of that than all these motherfuckers that ain't got no personality getting fucking flips. They're getting these fucking opportunities on TV because they shave the fucking body hair off their body and look at his toupee. Fuck you, fuck your flips, fuck Karter, fuck anyone don't like country people. I mean, you guys don't like it on here on this show here. You can go fuck yourself too. I don't really give a fuck.
Well, going in that, I think case in point, last show you had, we're showing a little bit of footage here in the background for everybody on video, but you had a very interesting challenge in Danhausen, and again, one of those, not a lot of flips, not a lot of those things, but probably one of the biggest reactions of the night.
Oh, absolutely. You got two guys that have nothing in common.
Mm-hmm.
You have a guy who's got a big following, which to be honest, I don't really understand. I don't get it. But he does. You know, I have just as many fans as he does, and I've told people this. I have just as many fans as Danhausen, but my fans actually have jobs. They work for a living. They don't have time to get on Twitter and troll people and talk shit. You know, they don't have a comic book collection or fucking trade Pokemon cards, or if that even a fucking thing anymore.
It is.
I have just as many fans as he does.
Mm-hmm.
And I won. I beat his ass. I showed everyone that I was a better professional wrestler than him.
There you go. And that was part of Pro Wrestling Conquest in your housing, of course. You do have some friends in the chat room. Your buddy Ryan Edmonds is out there. Jock Samson is the greatest all time. Show him respect. And he says, I'm going to smack that bitch. I think we're talking about Karter at that point.
Pretty much.
Yes.
Yep. Ryan Edmonds, I love you. You're one of my best friends in this whole world. Ride or die, motherfucker.
Tina from Seattle is asking, still causing divorces?
The what?
Still causing divorces?
Yeah. I'm married, but I don't really give a shit. You know, I do what I want when I want. If there's a woman out there, you know, and that's what I'm into. I'm not going to judge anyone for doing what they want, but that's what I want to do. If my wife, she can leave me at any time, but she don't, because I make a lot of goddamn money being a professional fucking wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
I do what I want. And of course I'm causing fucking divorces. And I really don't care if I am or not. Once I'm done, I'm done. I don't give a shit. Once I've had a good time and hung out with a pretty lady, I don't give a fuck after that.
So, of course, this show coming up this Friday, it's going to be on pay-per-view on IndieWrestling.live, of course. First time for Pro Wrestling Conquest. It's the first all-tag team show that they've booked here. Of course, our friends, the main event, a part of that, Facade and Kincaid, Generation Dead, Gory and G-Raver, Lenny and Lodi from WCW are a part of this. Before we get into what you're doing, what do you think about this, the tag team division that you're seeing come in? I know you're not directly involved in it, but it's got to be interesting to see all this talent come in.
Well, it's kind of refreshing to see a wrestling promotion actually give the fans what they want. And I know you guys, from what I heard, there was a wrestling promotion that was pretty big on TV that gave people what they wanted. And a lot of people in West Virginia and surrounding areas, they love tag team wrestling. I mean, it goes all the way back to the Rock and Roll Express, to the Midnight Express, the Freebirds, the Road Warriors, you could go on. This is what they grew up on. They love tag team wrestling because that's what made professional wrestling in West Virginia. People were hounding promoter, Derek Stower, saying, come on, man, we want tag team wrestling. And then the main event hopped in on it. and started pushing for it. And honestly, I think it's very good for pro wrestling because it's a very different thing that the people of West Virginia has never seen. An all-inclusive tag team show for tag team titles. And I mean, you look at some of the talent you had that you just announced off there, up and down the card. I mean, main event matches all over the place. That could be main events anywhere in the world. I know it's cliche, but I mean, the main event, one of the best tag teams I've ever seen in my entire life. We disagree on a lot of ways, but there's no reason why they're not on TV. Money Shot and the Dime Piece, two of the hardest working guys that I'm proud to call friend. They're out there busting their ass. They're grinding. They're making names for themselves, and they're doing it their way. And then I'm trying to let read some of them matches off.
Well, we got the Awakening. We got the Outrunners, Ace Austin and Madman Fulton from Impact Wrestling.
Well, there you go. You got Madman Fulton and Ace Austin. I mean, tag teams. Up at Impact, very good tag team. I've never heard of the Front Runners or the
Outrunners. Yeah, they're new to me as well.
I've never met them, but I've heard good things, and it's just, I mean, if you like tag team wrestling, if you like wrestling in general, this is the show that you want to come to. I mean, we've showed you at the last show with in your housing what Pro Wrestling Conquest can do.
Mm-hmm.
We showed everyone what we can do in pro wrestling, and we're a completely different product in West Virginia from what they're used to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've definitely never seen a promotion in West Virginia like this. So it is really refreshing, and it's been definitely for us on the production worth the drive to Charleston to see what you guys have in store every month. So.
Oh, I mean, and to think that we've had shows that had Cocabana, Al Snow, Fala Ba. I mean, the number, I can't remember. We've had Mance Warner. We had Sandman show up the last show with Shane Douglas.
Yeah.
And drink beer with the crowd. I mean, we had about 400 or 500 people in a building, and we're just starting. We're just building it up. It is the number. It will be, if it ain't already, it will be the ¡1 wrestling promotion in the state of West Virginia. That's going to piss a lot of people off, and I really don't care. I live maybe 5 minutes from the state of West Virginia right now as we speak, and I work for one promotion, and occasionally I will do a show here or there. Like this Friday and Saturday, I'm in West Virginia in Mullins, a place where I started my wrestling career, and I'm doing one more show there, and then Conquest will be the only promotion in the state of West Virginia that you can see me at.
Mm-hmm.
And what Conquest is doing also, they're giving you guys that you can't just see. The problem with West Virginia wrestling, and a lot of it's like in Pennsylvania, Ohio, you'll have 5 promotions in one town. And you'll see 25 guys that work for all 5 of those promotions. They're all drawing the same. They're all drawing 60 freaking people, right? And then they always talk about, we want to work together. I don't think people need to work together. They need to worry about their own business and try to draw something, try to be different. If you got 50, 60 people per show and you got the same 20 people, it's the problem. You're oversaturating your product. If the Beatles played in Pittsburgh for 2 weeks straight, for maybe let's say for a whole month, every night, the same venue, it wouldn't be the same. No one, I mean, it would first couple nights, people like, oh, cool, the Beatles. Then after a while, it'd be the same old shit. Love me do over and over again. I mean, you can't oversaturate a product. Wrestlers need to understand with promoters that if you overuse your wrestlers, then they're not going to be as effective.
Mm-hmm.
You just, I mean, I know you can't tell a guy where to wrestle and whatnot because it's their job. Promoter could be smart enough and say, well, I can't use you because you're wrestling there. And I just don't want to, cross up the streams a little bit. I don't want to confuse anybody.
Absolutely.
Every promotion should have different people. Every single one.
So, of course, you're the singles. You're the main champ, the Imperial champion here. But you are involved in this tag team show in a tag team. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're going to be doing here Friday?
Well, it comes to be that, granted, I am the heavyweight champion, I'm the Imperial champion, and I'm just not happy with that. If you're going to have a tag team show, you need the Imperial champion there to have an opportunity to become a tag team champion. So stipulation has came out that Cole Karter and I get to pick each other's partners. So it could be anybody. And we're not going to announce it until the night of the show, till the match comes up. We're not announcing it. Like, it could be anybody.
Mm-hmm.
It could be the Honky Tonk Man. It could be Greg the Hammer Valentine. It could be Danhausen. It could be Effie. And remind me later on to come back and talk about Effie if you want.
Okay.
I would like to have a couple minutes to talk about him. But it could be anybody. Big John Studd's kid. You know, Vince McMahon could be that spot, but I doubt it. He wouldn't have the vision to get to the building. But it could be anybody. He could pick anybody for me.
And
he could pick his mom.
And this is a part of the tournament too. Like, I thought this was a one-off one. I didn't realize that you guys are actually in the entire tournament.
You see, the thing is I want all the championships. I want them all.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be the heavyweight champion, the tag team champion. I want that. I deserve that, and I've gotten the opportunity. So all the winners of the matches go into a battle royal later on that night for the chance to become the first ever Imperial Pro Wrestling Conquest Imperial Tag Team Champions. I'm the first and only heavyweight champion. I want to be part of the first and only tag team champions, first ever. I want to be that guy. Because I'm about 20 years from now, when Pro Wrestling Conquest is around, and I'm probably done gone with wrestling, I want people to look back and say, "Man, that Jock Samson was there. This is his promotion. He made this promotion. The Office made this promotion." So anytime you think of the Pro Wrestling Conquest, I want you to think of me and the Office. That's what I want. So I'm not going to tell anybody who it's going to be. And I'm sure that piece of shit's not going to tell anybody who my partner is going to be.
Oh.
So we'll just have to show up and find out.
It'll be interesting to see how that's going to go. I'm really curious. No hints, no nothing, no little tidbits.
No, could be. I might pick you, Mike Sorg.
I'm going to be busy in the back, but I hope not. So
is Chachi and his balls going to be available?
We can check his schedule if you'd like. So.
I'd love to kick him in the nuts again.
Well, I'm sending him that clip. But anyways, you mentioned Effie. I wanted to give you a second to mention what you would like to there.
Oh, okay. And I'll make sure, you know how you do these cuts?
Mm-hmm.
Where you cut a piece out. I want you to cut this, and I want you to send it to him. I want him to see this.
Okay.
I'm not going to hide behind anything. I was in a show with Effie, Old Wrestling, in Norwalk, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in the same room as him, having a conversation with a bunch of other people. And then I get to the show the next day, and I see this long line of people there to see him, and I just don't understand it. Very talented. He's a great professional wrestler. He really is. But I don't get why all these people are clamoring over him. I'm sitting right across the room, got my own table. And I know my fans can't afford to, because they got to work on that Sunday. They can't actually get up and go to the shows because they like I said, they work for a living. They're blue collar. They're not white collar. They don't sit behind a computer and do that. But all these people went and spent some time with him, and I'm over there looking like, I don't get it. And then I heard later that he was talking shit about my drinking.
Uh-oh.
Thinks I drink too much. Well, Effie, I don't, care about what you have to say. I think you need to mind your own fucking business. Because one of these days, you're going to see me in a locker room, and I'm just going to walk up and smack you in the fucking mouth. I don't fucking play around. You're going to get my country ass if you don't be careful. So enjoy all your fans, enjoy all the shit. But if I ever see you around, this ain't going to be in a locker room. Anywhere I see you, you better grab your best hold then.
Have you had an encounter with Effie in the ring?
I've never had a wrestling match with him. I think I know why.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't think he wants to wrestle me.
Well, maybe that needs to happen sooner than later.
I think you tell anybody out there that I don't want a wrestling match. Mm-hmm. I could out wrestle anybody. I want to fight. I ain't playing around. I see you, I'm beating your ass. There it is.
There you go. Well, I'll be looking out for that happening for sure in the future. So, Jock Samson, thank you so much for joining us again. The Book More Tag Matches You Cowards show with Pro Wrestling Conquest. It's if you're can get to Charleston, West Virginia, it's going to be a fun show in person. It's a hell of an experience, Jock. I mean that crowd is definitely one of those that is unpredictable, I guess you could say.
I would say unpredictable because West Virginia's never experienced anything like this. This is, completely fresh. I mean, you got a little bit of everything. You got high flying action all the way down to making people laugh.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little something for everybody, and they also serve beer.
Yes, that's.
And you said something. You had that goober Daniel Weeds on here with his Pokemon hat.
The Dragon Ball, actually, but yes.
What's the difference? It's fucking nerd culture shit. I think more people need to be out working and pushing, mowing their yards and, building decks on their porches and stuff instead of, man, I got to get back. I got to play Call of Duty. I don't even know what the fuck people are playing now. My daughter's got a Nintendo Switch. I don't play that shit.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't get it. I don't get Dan. I'd like to kick his ass too.
Well, Eats has been coming up in Pro Wrestling Conquest pretty much. You see a confrontation with him in the future?
I don't think he's in my league. I think he's great.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't wrestle people who live in the nerd culture anymore. I don't understand it.
All right. We'll see.
I don't why aren't professional wrestlers going out and getting shit faced? I mean going out and having fun. I'm not saying drink. A lot of people don't drink, and I don't bully people into drinking. What happened about having a good time?
I got you.
What happened to that? What happened? Is it only about the wrestling match? You got to experience something. I don't get it. I drive by this comic book store and line every first Saturday of the month. They got a line out the door. I don't get it. I've never read a comic book in my life.
Well,
I read Sports Illustrated and Playboy growing up, mainly Hustler. It was more graphic. It was more like a graphic novel.
Well, if anybody wants to help Jock with his existential crisis here, you are on Twitter, you are on social media. Where can people reach out to you?
Well, you just go to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. You type Jock Samson in, Samson. There's no P in Samson.
Yep, made that mistake early.
A lot of you don't put a fucking P in my name.
Sorry about that.
That's right. It's Samson, like the Bible.
Yeah, that's exactly what he yelled at me from across the gym. Yes. So
my first finisher in wrestling was called Delilah. So
nice.
Yeah, that was a little tidbit there.
There you go.
But I appreciate you having me on your show. It's nice meeting all you gentlemen. Just make sure you tell people that I'm not the bad guy. I'm just a guy that speaks this from his heart. I don't understand why people want to go around being villainized. I don't understand it, but I guess since I speak my mind, that I guess it makes me the bad guy, and so be it. So it was a very pleasure meeting y'all, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day.
There you go. Thank you, Jock Samson. You're an absolute gentleman and a scholar whenever we have you on the show. And
I'll see you Friday.
We'll see you Friday. And you guys can all see that Friday. Once again, that will be part of IndieWrestling.live, the pay-per-view over there, $9.99 over there. And, of course, it'll be on VOD afterwards for our friends at Pro Wrestling Conquest. It's going to be a very, very big show.
And I will be doing the play-by-play, the caller commentating with Joe Dombrowski also.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yes, I will be there, so make sure you get on there and you listen to all the dumb shit that I'm going to say, because I'm going to say some dumb shit.
Listen, you just got about 20, 30 minutes of Jock with a live mic on the internet. Imagine what he's going to say when you have that's behind a paywall. Okay?
Exactly.
So, I don't think Pro Wrestling Conquest has any limitations on language, and we're going to give you a live mic for an extended period of time on there during wrestling matches. That's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be something for sure. It's gonna be like sticking your hand in an alligator's mouth.
There you go. And Joe's the one that's gonna have to juggle that alligator. So there you go. Go check that out. All that, of course, with at IndieWrestling.live. Thank you so much, Jock Samson, for joining us.
Yeah, L'chaim.
Thanks. Well, with that, guys, we're going to get into, of course, I think some wrestling stuff happened over this weekend. We do have a panel with us from literally across the country with Alex and Mike here. So thank you guys for hopping on here. So yeah, AEW All Out. First, we got to touch with you, Mike.
Yeah.
Because something monumental happened with you in this show, right? Tell us what you were telling me before the show.
I spent my hard-earned money on All Out.
You paid for a pay-per-view for All Out. And now, not that he's seen, I want to point out, like you have not seen the pay-per-views through ill-gotten means in the past necessarily. You just they're not watching them
not
night
since
of.
my TNA days.
It's not like the TNA days. You have.
Yeah, I didn't go just.
We don't need to go into details, but you have legitimate ways to.
Yeah,
to watch the shows.
I see the pay-per-views.
Like you have some special connections there at the Mad Night Cave, basically.
Yeah,
is what we'll say. But so I first want to go to you because you have been. I mean, you've been the biggest detractor of AEW for most of this time, right? Correct? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, well, I don't know if I'd say detractor.
I mean, as fair to say as Jock Samson doesn't like or know what Pokemon is.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, he definitely doesn't know what Pokemon is.
Okay.
But I wouldn't say I've been a detractor of AEW. I've been critical.
Okay.
But I've been just as critical of WWE. So I think I'm being fair. I will say that All Out. The reason I bought All Out instead of watching it in my normal method was I knew it was going to be a big night. We all knew it was going to be a big night with every rumor that was going around and everything. And quite frankly, I didn't want to get spoiled. That was the main reason. I also wanted to see a couple of the matches on there very badly. Miro and Eddie Kingston did not disappoint. The Lucha Brothers in the cage did not disappoint. I was curious to see what Punk would do. And we'll talk about it.
Okay.
And and I wanted to, and I was really hoping that either I'd see Ruby Riott or Ruby Soho, or the Iconics, or the Inspiration, whatever, what they're calling themselves now. So I was like, okay, there's a Casino Battle Royal, very high odds.
Yes,
one of those two things will happen. I was pretty sure Daniel Bryan was going to show up. Didn't really move the needle for me one way or another. Was surprised about Adam Cole. That was a good one. But like, the thing with me about AEW pay-per-views is that even this one, as good as it was, predictable. At least the match outcomes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
sure.
Like predict, like if you made me a bet that if I guess all of the matches right,
okay,
then I will. Yeah, I mean, we've had this conversation multiple times,
where it's not all about the predictability. Listen, so for instance, we had this discussion again, because Chachi. I don't know if we mentioned when Christian Cage won the Impact Championship from Kenny. Right at the beginning of that match, there was Chachi saying, "Oh, I'm really looking forward to this match, even though I completely know what's going to happen at the end." And of course, not the thing, that he did not expect that finish.
Oh, right.
But so to me, like, and we've said before, a lot of times I believe it's about the ride and not necessarily the outcome. And when it comes to professional wrestling, right? Did you enjoy the ride?
Depends on the match.
But
depends on the match. Like the Lucha Brothers. Yeah, absolutely. That was a great match. And I'm a self-professed guy who doesn't Meltzer himself over every Young Bucks match.
Okay. Doesn't Meltzer himself?
Yeah, doesn't Meltzer his own pants.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm using that as a verb.
Okay.
You can quote me on that.
Let's put that out there to our panel. Ronnie, Alex, did any of you Meltzer your pants during those matches?
No. I mean, sure. I marked out for CM Punk because I'm a Punk guy.
Yes.
But I didn't cream myself. When my personality came on. I was surprised he was wearing tights. That was awkward. But the pay-per-view was really good.
Yeah.
Just not enough for me to be like, oh God, you know, like it was good, but not cream my pants good.
Okay. What about you, Alex? What was your general temperature of that show?
Honestly, overall, I really enjoyed it. I don't. I feel like Mike already touched on a lot of my feelings about it. Like, I guess to some extent, you could say it was pretty predictable. It's funny because like I kind of gave my own picks, and like the only ones that I actually got wrong were ones where I think I was almost purposely picking against what seemed obvious.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, for example, there was a part of me that was hoping that Darby would actually beat CM Punk,
Oh,
but
God,
I mean,
yeah.
that maybe that's on me for thinking Punk was not going to win in Chicago. That's on me. I'll admit that. And then kind of the same
Seriously.
thing with the QT Marshall versus Paul White match. I'm like, I kind of wanted to see QT actually get something off of that, but I mean, like, the match that if there was the closest thing to a low point for the whole show for me was that, purely because it was what it was. It was decent for what it was, but it didn't really. I wasn't very excited about the match or the build leading up to it, but that's just me personally. Having not really like I'm just now starting to get back into watching AEW on a weekly basis. So yeah, so that match just kind of was what it was, but the rest of the show was great for me personally.
Tina said something in the chat. Is it bad that I was more excited for Suzuki and Danielson rather than Punk? And I'm kind of with her on that, because I've never personally seen a Minoru Suzuki match. Never seen one. I'm excited to see one tomorrow night.
Wait. That's your first Suzuki experience?
Yes. Yeah.
And your wait. Okay. And your first impressions are?
It's a wait and see. I'm gonna wait and see.
Okay.
Because I trust him and Moxley. I've heard they've had really good matches and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I may have seen a Suzuki match in one of the past Wrestle Kingdoms that I've seen, but I don't remember if I have seen one. So, I'm interested about that. Like, but I don't know. Like the Punk match, it was fine. It didn't really blow my hair back or anything. Like I'm glad Punk is healthy and enjoying himself. That's all gravy for me. That's fantastic. If you were asking me who I would have had Punk wrestle his first time out, I would not have picked Darby Allin.
Mm-hmm.
Because to me it screams like Darby should have won that match.
Right, I know, but I think more important at the moment, and maybe Darby gets a win later. You don't know, right? We don't know what the plan for Punk is.
Sorg, we know.
Okay, but it's not.
I will say this: I don't think CM Punk is losing in 2021.
Interesting.
I don't think he is.
Interesting. Let's keep that in mind. Honestly, he may only have one or two more matches for.
Yeah, exactly.
So okay. So let's put that aside. I still feel like Punk needed he's got to win so people are like, oh, can he still go?
No, but here's
what.
Yes, but what you do is you haven't beat a heel. You haven't beat a heel. You don't haven't beat one of your top faces.
This is Brett and the British Bulldog at Wembley Stadium.
And Bulldog was stoned out of his mind for that.
Okay, not that part. That's why I both think. That's why it worked this time, because they're both straight edge.
Sorg, here's exactly what you do. I'm gonna make it better with one simple sentence. You ready? Here's what we do. It fixes two problems too. MJF beat Chris Jericho, right? Made Jericho tap in the labors of Jericho on Dynamite a couple weeks ago, right? MJF comes out the next week and calls himself the best in the world at what he does because he made Chris Jericho tap out. That's when CM Punk comes out and says, you know what? I made Chris Jericho tap out too. How about you and I have a match? And then it doesn't matter if MJF loses to CM Punk.
Right.
Because he's supposed to.
Yes.
Because he's the heel. And honestly, that's a much better promo battle because Darby Allin, great in the ring, terrible on the fucking mic.
Well, he's got Papa Sting.
Sting
so-
is also not known for his microphone skills.
Okay, all right. I'll give you that.
But the thing is,
I
there
gotta
was no-
say,
there was no juice.
I
That's
want to
why
give
they
you.
used 2.0 and everything.
I will give you. I like your scenario better than what unfolded as
Yeah.
a story thing. Like I thought that would have been great. It would have put Jericho out the pasture maybe for the show. But I obviously I want to connect the dots on there. And this is something maybe that's what we're going to do on Wednesday. Maybe we're going to go right into that, right? So like you don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't. I know.
We won't know until Wednesday what
yeah,
where
I'm not
we're
gonna
going from here.
speculate what they're doing.
No.
but-
I'm really happy with that. Yay, Punk Pants.
Yeah,
so
although
maybe
I saw
hey, after 7 years and you're in your 40s, maybe you don't want to shave your legs anymore. I get it.
But see,
I get
and
it.
I haven't caught up on heels yet.
Yeah. Okay.
I bet he's wearing trunks.
I don't know. So I still need to get my sub to that and find any time to watch that
Just
show.
wait till it's done
But-
and get the sub then.
Yeah, probably will at this point since we're like 4 weeks in on it.
4
so
weeks in,
I got plenty.
That's 100% what I'm doing. I'm
I
just
still
waiting
need.
for
I
stuff.
still need to watch like Ring of Honor's pay-per-views from last month. Okay, that's
No,
where
you
I'm at right
don't.
now. Yes, I do. I pay for it. One, I
Okay,
want to
all
watch
right.
Shane Taylor knock the shit out of somebody. 3, I want to see Incoherence in a match in 2021. So
Okay,
I
all
want to
right.
see
I
more
said
Brian.
correctly.
I want to see
I
more
said
Brian
correctly.
Anthony before we see him in 2 Saturdays at RWA against J Rock for the championship. O'Shea Edwards is fucking awesome. And I don't think I've even seen a match of his in ROH yet, and that's my fault. But like there's stuff there I like, and I'm down with it.
Okay.
Jonathan Gresham doing anything. Okay, just Jonathan Gresham, period, existing on a show. Okay, like do commentary, and I'll be fascinated. Okay, so there's one.
By the
guys,
way,
what?
going back, Punk on commentary with Jericho. Ooh, hard pass on that. Never do that again.
Okay, here's my take.
Never
Since
fucking
I've
do that
finally watched like 2 shows with Jericho on the mic of Rampage with this configuration, right? Because I attended the first 2, so I didn't get to experience that side of it. I couldn't hear him from my seat, at least. From the sounds of it,
I'm
From
surprised.
the sounds of it, I probably should have. But anyway, so I do wish that Chris Jericho on commentary was suit Chris Jericho that whispered.
Yes.
I am with you on that.
Yes.
Okay. And I am a big Chris Jericho fan, right?
Yes.
And
I'm
I
aware,
am
yeah.
understanding, like, yeah, this was fun. Like, it was one of those, it was fun when it was just him and, who was it? Was it him and Shivani? When
him
they
and
were
JR. When
No,
it
no.
was him and JR in the pandemic shows, that was absolutely fine.
I think it was
because they were just
originally,
having a conversation.
but there was a period of him and Shivani because JR
Yeah,
wasn't,
probably.
because JR wasn't initially traveling.
Oh, yeah, that's
for
true.
things.
That's true.
So like that, I loved that.
Yeah, that was fine.
That was great. But now
because
he's
it was more of a conversation
but
about.
but since there's 4 of them, I think he's competing more, and that turns into what we're getting.
Wait,
right?
Jericho's trying to be the loudest person in the room? No.
But he's also competing with 3 other guys, and they're all wrestling personalities that
and
he
they're
knows.
all
and
very
it's-
soft-spoken.
Yes. Oh yeah, yeah.
They're all
Mark
very
Henry is
soft-spoken.
very soft in person
Mark
and
Henry
on
is
commentary.
honestly. Mark Henry is a delight. On
He
the
is.
commentary.
He is. I love
Just
it.
give me Mark Henry and Excalibur. Like if AEW wants to be different, give me a 2-man booth.
And honestly, maybe
Give me a fucking 2-man booth. You ask what the fans want. The fans want a fucking 2-man booth.
we'll see where we're at with that. How are you guys on things? How are you guys on anything else from the show? That cage match, holy shit! That cage match.
All right,
I
so
loved it.
I think my favorite thing about the cage match wasn't something that happened in the cage match. It was what happened afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
I watched the post show media thing,
Mm-hmm.
and the Lucha Brothers did an interview. They still didn't clean Penta's blood off the belt, and honestly, it looked like the most badass shit you've ever seen.
Nice. Was he cleaned up at that point at least?
He was cleaned up.
Like
was
he put on a
perfectly
mask that
cleaned
wasn't
up.
ripped or something.
Yeah, he was
right?
perfectly
So-
cleaned up and everything, but the belt still had all the blood on it. And honestly, I hope they don't clean it. I'm sure they
Mm.
probably have to
Yeah.
for medical reasons.
Yes.
But it looked cool as fuck.
Mhm.
Like it was like, Oh, that's something Lucha Underground never did that they probably should have.
Mm-hmm.
like that was the first thing I thought of. I'm like, that would have been really cool in the temple. That would have been very cool. But yeah, I mean, I never need to see QT Marshall on pay-per-view again.
I never need to see QT Marshall ever again, if that's okay.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good without QT Marshall.
Yeah, he did his thing.
Let the rest of his little group of factory students take the lead on actually being involved in stuff. But
I'm looking forward to this transition where Solo and Camarado aren't fodder for QT. I know
that's
that's
never going to happen.
What do you mean it's never going to happen?
It's not going to happen in this iteration.
Okay, but at some point, like they'll turn or something, right? And then they'll break off. Like there's going to be we're tired of this shit.
That's more likely than they'll never not be fodder.
Okay, that's it.
I just had a thought about that match, and I'm not usually one to fantasy book things, but you know what I would have loved to have seen, especially if they were given the placement of that match being right before the main event. And I really maybe they didn't need to waste much more time, but man, imagine if they had turned it into a mini little gauntlet match. Just go through the whole.
I like that idea better.
If you're gonna, if you were gonna, because the whole, like I said, I'm still trying. I've been trying to catch up on the weekly product, so I wasn't aware of the whole thing where this. The reason they even had this match was because Tony Schiavone was being basically bullied by QT.
Right.
And that's that. But I'm I don't know,
and Tony's kid, because everyone's kid now has to get bullied in wrestling.
Yeah, apparently.
Right.
Everyone's child.
I'm not a fan of that trend, by the way. I'm
not either. It's fucking. It's a waste of time and a waste of resources.
Yeah. So I'm I think if I would have fantasy booked anything for All Out, it would have been a little mini gauntlet. But
and Tina's asking a very pertinent question in the chat room. What was the point of the Gun Club turn?
So
and I'm gonna be honest. It wasn't even an entire Gun Club turn. It was just Billy.
Yeah, but the others were supportive.
They did nothing.
They did nothing. No.
They just reacted, kinda.
Yep. Yeah. That was partially addressed on Elevation in commentary. But
oh wow. So
right,
we really needed that segment.
I don't know. Elevation was an awkward dance of not telling you, but also telling you what happened on the pay-per-view on commentary.
That's not good.
Well, I mean, it was filmed before. It was filmed before. I think they post-produced it. It's one of those. It's one of those.
That's Ring of Honor.
That's not Ring of Honor. That's not that aspect.
Yeah,
they actually had clips and stuff in it, so they acknowledged the pay-per-view. Like they acknowledged.
Why didn't they just say
as a show? No, I'm saying as a show. But I'm saying the commentary itself did a weird little dance. I noticed, but but
they don't have to.
It's a Labor Day thing right after a pay-per-view. It's going to be weird. Okay,
but if you don't mention stuff that happened on the pay-per-view, except in packages.
No, it is. You saw the graphics, you saw everything like that, and there wasn't anything on the show. The show had its own storylines. The show had an entire angle with the Wingmen. Okay, the show had set up for this this 3 stages of whatever match with Big Swole and whoever the hell and Diamante tonight, which sounds interesting. Like there's some good stuff happening. I mean, again, I'm not gonna have this conversation.
That's something that should be on television.
Or it could be something that makes me want to watch the YouTube show. That's okay too.
Is it?
Yeah.
AEW is always better when they have more women representation on their show.
I mean, give me something that's a little bit of both. Like, hype up your YouTube show, but give me something on the TV show as well.
Yeah, Sorg.
They have enough people.
Like, Sorg, you're telling me about this Big Swole and Diamante 3 strikes match, apparently, according to Tina in the chat? Tell me about that on Dynamite.
So, here's the other thing. So, I've been thinking about
if you're going to have a big stipulation match like that,
right?
Tell me about that on Dynamite.
Mike, can I
Rampage.
Can I
you have 3 hours now?
Can I reframe the YouTube shows for you?
No. No, because
Hold on, Mike. Let's step aside. Alex and Ronnie, can I reframe the YouTube shows for you, and then we'll check in with Mike in a minute.
I just want to say I love these nuanced conversations we have about pro wrestling.
You
Okay,
can decide.
hold
I'm
on,
not
hold
gonna-
on. Mike, sit in the corner for a minute. I'm going to have a conversation with our guys. Okay, please,
I'm over here laughing.
and then
I
we'll
was gonna
walk
let
me
you
through
talk.
this.
I was just- I
We're
was
putting
just
Mike.
being
We're
laughed.
putting Mike in the corner.
No one's putting
To
Mike
be
in the
fair,
corner.
to be fair, we need to get some other voices on here. So here's the where I'm thinking about and I love them as they are, and you know that. But what if you look at the YouTube shows this way? The YouTube shows. What if NXT wasn't separated from the other shows, and actually had a through line, and people didn't get repackaged when they got onto the main shows and things like that, and regularly things like Finn Balor jumping down to the NXT was happened and things like that. Like it was a kind of a swinging door kind of situation. So you have your YouTube shows where. Think of it as the developmental between like the talents on there that are getting wins, working it out, getting familiarized to the hardcore AEW crowd, because let's be honest, that's who's watching the YouTube show versus the more general crowd that'll be watching, say, Dynamite or Rampage, correct? So your Monday and Tuesday is NXT, and then your Wednesday, Friday is SmackDown Raw when we didn't split the rosters, more or less. Ronnie, what do you think of that as conceptually a way to look at those programs if you're like, why the hell would I care about the YouTube shows?
I think that's a good way to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely feel like Elevation and what was it, Dark and Dark Elevation.
Yes.
They're definitely the NXT version. That's
Mm-hmm.
where the young guys get their chances, and that's where the indie guys get their chances to work on the show.
Yeah.
And get a look at. You got to get that look-see in there. And then you got the main shows, which I'm not going to call them Raw and SmackDown because I don't watch that shit.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you. I agree with you, Sorgy. I just think Mike had me cracking up because I was literally just like, he's like, no. He's like, literally like, no, fuck you, you're wrong.
Right,
here's the thing. I'm all for that.
Yes.
But if it's going to count, if it's going to be important, tell me that on the other shows.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, if you're going to build people up on those shows and then have them randomly come in on Dynamite and on Rampage, I have zero reason to care about them.
Okay.
Because you keep talking about the wingmen, I have no idea who the wingmen are.
Okay.
And because they've never explained who the wingmen are on Dynamite unless they are actually in a match. AEW does so much promoting and announcing their matches and stuff. The least they can do is put together a video package. Hey, here's why you should care about the Varsity Blondes maybe getting a title shot. Because honestly, I looked at them in that tag title tournament. I'm like, oh, were they fucking jobbers? Because I don't know who they are.
Okay, we got that. Alex, let me position to you an alternative version of this. What if you look at those two shows as your WCW Saturday Night, WWF Superstars Wrestling Challenge kinds of shows to the main show? What do you think of that, Alex?
I think that's a fair point.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of that.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like I feel like I lean a little bit. Hang on one second. Okay, I do feel like I lean a little bit towards what Matt and Mike's saying. Like at least give me enough mentions of these things on the TV shows. I'm actually kind of glad you framed it that way though, Sorg. Because in my head I was thinking, okay, if you look at AEW Dark and Dark Elevation, which I gotta be honest, these many months since they've debuted both Dark and Dark Elevation, there's a part of me that's still a little confused on what the difference is supposed to be, aside from like the commentary team.
Oh, there's not. There's not. There's
right.
It's just another Dark.
Okay, the reason I bring it up is because I remember that they were kind of positioning it a certain way when they introduced the show. Like the main it was weird though, because the main thing they promoted about it was the fact that they promoted it as a way to like showcase the up and coming talent, much like Dark is.
Yes.
But one of the main things that they used to promote it early on was the fact that they had hired Paul White as like one of the commentators for it. Like he's and it's like there's that presence to it. But I think if you present Dark and Dark Elevation as your Superstars of Wrestling Challenge type shows, I think there's a value to that. Again, just because even when they had, I'm trying to remember if there, because I didn't grow up watching like early Raw, but I feel like I'm just trying to picture like them mentioning stuff that happened on Wrestling Challenge or
Which
Superstar
they did
or
all
whatever.
the time.
Which they did all the time. Okay, that's
Yeah,
right.
they did
Like they
that
did
all
that
the time.
on Raw when they, so like if you look at it that way, it's like, and the funniest thing about comparisons is that like to me, Rampage does feel like the early days of SmackDown, like where
Okay.
you use it to continue storylines from Dynamite.
Mhm.
But yeah, in this case, in this case, you're continuing storylines from Dynamite and like helping to push things forward. And I think having that extra hour of TV a week I think that's the bridge. Like you can use that to bridge the gap between the YouTube shows and like the main show.
Perhaps.
Like
Yeah.
if the idea is that you're trying to develop the talent to a certain extent, like help them get help put them more at ease, I guess, with being like recorded, being filmed. I don't know. Whatever main purpose you want to look at as far as the development side of AEW through the YouTube shows. But if you have them ready enough, you can then present them on Rampage, even
Yeah.
use that to bridge the gap between the YouTube shows and Dynamite. But I think as far as the way you framed it, it makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, I think you get that a little bit with guys like Daniel Garcia, kind of bridging up those gaps a little bit. So
Right,
I think it happens adequately,
Yeah,
as far as things go. When we introduce a Daniel Garcia, there'll be a package, and they have plenty of footage of the guy kicking people's asses on Dark, right?
Yeah,
like
but then he has matches on Dynamite.
Right, then he has matches on Dynamite. Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, they don't do that often. Like to
Mhm.
follow your example of WCW Saturday Night. Let's say we're in 1995 WCW Saturday Night. Okay, the Gambler has gone on a 10-match win streak on Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
WCW even back then wouldn't just randomly throw the Gambler on Nitro in a TV title
Was
match.
there seriously a wrestler called the Gambler?
Yes, absolutely. It's WCW, of course it was.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't just throw him in a TV title match without showing clips of him getting big wins on Saturday night.
Oh my God,
That's all I'm asking for. I don't think it's a lot.
This guy is for real.
You know what's
happening?
Sorg
He's
is
on Wrestle
going to do a deep dive into the
Chopper
Gambler
of the
tonight.
week. The guy, he had cards and everything. He's
Mike,
ready
you know
made
what's-
for the Casino Battle Royal.
I know.
Oh Lord.
My buddy Joe has been petitioning for the Gambler to be in every single Casino Battle Royal since AEW's
Give
inception.
me look at
So he's the poor man's Gambit, is what you're
look
saying.
at the
Mhm.
hat.
Well,
Or is
maybe
that
he
Ace
just.
Austin?
I mean, maybe he just knows when to hold him and when to fold him. And
Okay, mother. Okay,
He knows
all
when to walk
right.
away.
All
I don't
right.
know.
And he did.
You know
He just
what?
doesn't come back.
You know what? I need a break after that pun. I'm sorry. We'll come back in a moment, but first we'll be talking more AEW. I'm sure. Did anything happen on WWE last night? I don't care. I really don't care. You're killing my last love of WWE.
Hey,
Fuck it. I want to talk about pizza. New York
Actually,
City style,
there is
yins
something
are
that
made.
happened on SmackDown.
Beachview, Carnegie, East End, North Hills. If you don't have a slice on Broadway, if you're not around Pittsburgh, please support your local independent pizza provider. But definitely, if you're here, support our friends at Slice on Broadway, sliceonbroadway.com. We need a break. I need a breather. Between you guys and Jock Samson, I've been through a lot of an emotional roller coaster in the last hour, okay? And we'll be right back after this.
What's up? It's the Gigabyte Grizzly Brohema, and this is a messed up time we live in, so I need you all to do me a favor. Wear your mask. Like this, not like this, or like this, or like this, like this. Wear your mask. It's for your safety and mine. Because if I see you without one, I'm going to pump kick a mask onto your face. Got it?
For a foot, for an inch, yeah, I fight for you all. Is the truth and I'm in, yeah, I fight for every breath that I...
The world of pro wrestling, it's bigger than ever. So how can you possibly keep up with everything that's happening? Just pro wrestling news. Don't fear falling behind. Give us just 5 minutes every morning and we'll catch you up on the biggest news in the world of pro wrestling. No filler, no rumors, no spoilers, no pop-ups. Just pro wrestling news. Subscribe on your favorite podcast app or tell your smart speaker to play the Just Pro Wrestling News podcast. Find out more. Go to justprowrestlingnews.com.
Wrestling Mayhem Show. We are here. We are still here. We still got who we got here? Where's my buttons?
Can
Where's
I
my
get
buttons?
out of the
at?
fucking corner?
Yeah,
yet?
you're allowed to get out of the corner, Mike. Yes.
I'm sorry, I have opinions.
If you got
How dare you in 2021?
Well, I just love how the All Out conversation turned into the same YouTube show conversation we have.
You were the
every
one who
week,
brought
so-
up the YouTube
Yeah,
shows.
I know. But, so we'll get more into that.
I was trying to give AEW praise, and then you brought up the things I don't
know.
like about
I just
them.
walked right into it. I need like a list of things not to bring up to Mike, like posted right here on my monitor.
Until they change them.
Yes.
I'm
It'd be
still
like
gonna
things
have
that don't bring
problems
up around Mike. AEW Women's Division, YouTube shows. What the fuck are the wingmen?
Yep.
All right. But anyways, let's have another
What's
question.
gonna get him heated today?
Ronnie Starks is with us.
Yeah.
Manager, wrestler. You were like a wrestler at one point, right?
Yeah,
I don't
a few
know.
times.
A few times.
Mhm.
Referee. I mean, I saw the one time, and that was something.
Sorg, I've been with you this entire time.
I know.
You just
I
didn't
know. Ronnie's just been in the background of all of our shots on the Wrestling Mayhem
Sorg,
show.
when you saw one set of footprints in the sand, that's when Ronnie carried you.
That's when.
And I broke Sorg. Yeah.
Oh, and
You
Alex
did it,
Kahrs is
everyone.
here, wondering what the fuck we're talking about from OccupyProWrestling.com.
I got nothing. I'm just happy to be here. Like at this point, I'm just happy to be a part of the show.
That's half the AEW roster. Boom.
Hey, whoa, hold on a second.
Well, that's definitely QT Marshall anyway.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, there we go.
All right,
There we go.
all right.
There's our agreement.
Well,
Now we can pivot.
from that, I was going to attempt to parlay into a what if segment, but I don't know
Let's
how
do
to do
it.
that right now. This is a big one. This
Uh-oh.
is a big one.
Okay.
A lot of questions
Oh boy.
around this.
Mhm.
You can go a lot of ways with it. What if AEW didn't happen?
Oh God.
What if? I can tell you right now, Britt Baker would be in the Ring of Honor Women's Tournament.
I don't think she would.
You don't think she would? You think she gets signed by now?
No. I think Adam Cole and Britt Baker would have won the mixed match challenge.
Ooh, okay.
And I think we would have had female representation in the Undisputed Era. That's what I think.
Okay, I can see that. Well, I can tell you, I didn't even think about this. Ring of Honor would be a lot better off.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think CM Punk would have gone back to Ring of Honor.
No,
I think
no, absolutely not.
They were
Absolutely
reaching
not.
out to him.
See, here's why I think. Let's assume all things being equal, CM Punk still has a Stars show to promote.
Okay.
What better way to do that than by returning to wrestling?
Okay.
He wouldn't return to WWE, obviously.
Okay.
New Japan doesn't have the reach in the States that the other companies do, and I don't believe he would go to Impact.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he'd go to ROH.
I don't think. Do you think that Punk would go back and promote on a syndicated hour show?
Who says they're syndicated at that point if AEW doesn't happen?
And not to mention,
Because-
if you
no,
have
because-
CM Punk come back after 7 years,
Sorg,
dude, they
think
would have got a
about it.
TV deal like crazy. Like they'd be like,
Sorg,
yeah.
think about it. If AEW doesn't happen, ROH still potentially has Cody, the Bucks, Kenny,
Mm-hmm.
all them. I mean, who knows? Maybe they buy out the ROH management.
You're suggesting instead of going AEW, they would have maybe purchased Ring of Honor.
Yes. Or if they know Tony Khan, or they could have had Tony Khan buy it out.
And by the way, I'm sorry. I should have positioned this. I almost said this as a secondary sentence, and I neglected to. By saying no AEW, Tony Khan does not get involved in professional wrestling.
Oh, but Sorg, he's such a big wrestling fan.
Okay.
He would have found a way.
He would have found a way.
Okay.
If Billy Corgan found a way,
That
Tony
is
Khan
true.
would have found a way.
Exactly.
That is true.
Billy Corgan bought the NWA. It's not like it's out of the realm of possibilities.
Yeah.
Or hell, I mean, you could have Cody go to the NWA, pair up with Billy Corgan.
Well, he was already there.
Yeah, I know.
He
but
was
that's
already
what-
the NWA champion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's
I
what
mean,
I'm saying, like,
Yeah, but that was to be really honest. Let's the Cody being NWA champion was almost purely to have him win the title at All In.
yes.
If you ask, because like if memory serves me correctly, he literally lost it like the next time that he defended it, which was
Yes.
like at the NWA pay-per-view. He lost it right back to Nick Aldis, who then
Yes,
held on
indeed.
to it forever and always.
It
So
was
it's
just
like,
for the pop. That's all.
right. It was for the pop.
Mhm.
But I'm just like, so yeah. I'm sorry, but to give my response, I think that the first and biggest thing to me is if there was no AEW, Daniel Bryan would not have ever come back to WWE. I think he would have
Really?
stayed retired. Yeah, I think.
No,
he
he would have.
no, he would have come back. He
Nah,
just
he
wasn't
would've- he
considering
would've.
anything else.
He would have come
Yeah.
back because remember at that point his wife was still actively working with WWE. Like,
Right, but here's like the thing that I'm remembering about like when he first retired is that it came off of like, at least according to him, from what I remember at least, he had doctors that were saying that he could wrestle,
Mhm.
and then like it was WWE's doctors that were specifically saying no.
No, I
Oh,
mean, but Brian came back before AEW was even existed.
Okay,
Brian-
that's
Brian-
fair. So I
Brian's
think
been back. Brian was back for
Yeah.
at least a year.
Well,
or
I guess.
so.
Well, okay. I guess I might be overthinking just a little bit because
Yeah.
the thing is, as soon like when he retired and there was all this talk about whether or not he was gonna continue keeping like I think it was if I remember right when we were gearing up for the original All In event, the big rumor was like that Daniel Bryan's in his initial contract or like one of his contracts was like coming up. And then it came out that he like re-signed to like just keep to essentially keep some kind of job. Yeah.
Talking smack. And
Right,
stuff
right,
like
right,
that,
right.
So,
being
so
an asshole, yeah.
just to contextualize on the most recent with the Cole Danielson and Punk, one thing that's been iterated, I think, by a couple of those guys may have been the Brody Lee Memorial,
Mhm.
and
Right.
how that was treated, and that was like to them. Kind of a big factor of like,
Right.
oh, they treat wrestling this way. That is appealing to me,
I
right?
always
Right,
thought
that was a big thing for Punk that
Mhm.
he's stated such. That was
Yeah.
like his main.
And I felt like
that was
Bri-
one
I
of the
felt
big
like
things. that
Brian might
really-
have as well too.
Yeah, Brian did as
So-
well.
Oh,
on the
okay.
media thing. I thought that was weird though because like, if Brody was working for WWE when that happened,
Mm-hmm.
they would have done the same thing.
They would have
Maybe-
done. they
Maybe
would-
not. Maybe not to the extent of bringing his son in
Right.
as an on-screen character because there's a lot of liabilities. in there.
I think that show was tremendous, and
Yeah, it was.
I've seen a lot of memorial shows and benefit shows and things like that where people like it was a passion show, right?
Mhm.
And I think there's something that, and this may be something that reads more for them as wrestlers in the business around these people, know these people, kind of thing too, right? Because there's this, because that seems to be thinking like it's the vibe, it's this, it's the excitement, it's this, and this, right? So I think. I think when we talk about that, we should be clear that they are seeing something that we as fans probably don't. Okay.
I mean, I know Punk was very specific when he said that that the details surrounding Brody's unfortunate passing was
that's
all
what
kept
I was
in,
thinking of. Yeah,
was all kept in house, and that
was
may
how they
not,
handled that part of the situation.
because like if you think back to what happened with Eddie Guerrero, like the details came out.
Right, and I don't think you could hide it at that point, right? And that this, Also, we were in the middle of COVID, and everybody was locked down and not traveling, so maybe that makes it part of it too.
I mean, you don't have as many reporters going to a wrestling show when there's a
and just be like, "Where's Brody at?" So there's that. So we have that. Does NXT still exist on the network?
No, because USA would probably eventually want to monetize it.
Because they lost SmackDown, so they still would have want to throw that on there. Well, it was NXT going there. You think that was a direct like that more that than putting them up against AEW?
You have to remember NXT was on Wednesdays before AEW existed.
This is true.
Like a lot of people will say that it was WWE that did the direct competition. That's not true. Like, just because NXT was on the network on Wednesdays, it still aired on Wednesdays.
Do you think there was any thought, because TNT probably gave them the time slot, right? And I feel like TNT is looking at the landscape, and they're not even considering the network.
Well, TNT is also considering they air a lot of sports.
A lot of sports, and at the time, you're talking about Monday and Friday WWE programs that you're trying to avoid.
Well, Friday is almost exclusively NBA.
Right. For them.
TNT.
So there's a lot of juggling. So Wednesday's
the
day that made...
So Wednesday was the only day that worked, I think, for TNT. And it doesn't even work for them now because I think they're getting hockey or something.
Right.
Or they're expanding their NBA coverage or something like that. That's why they're moving to TBS.
Right.
So I mean,
I was gonna say like Wednesday was the only night that seemed to work, but then you still had stuff like basically like for certain NBA games and stuff, especially during playoff season, you saw a number of Friday night dynamites or even Saturday night dynamites, which like we also like I think we have one coming up I think fairly soon. This
in Orlando. Yeah, I'm going.
Yep.
So it's like. So it's just like, I don't know. Like, I think the one thing I want to circle back to a little bit is the idea of like ROH maybe getting some kind of push off of the ramifications of everything else because
they would be a lot
like
stronger.
the original All In event was fairly independent, but it is also noted that like ROH had a hand in helping with like various production things. Like I think.
Oh well, they
like
let
the
them use
cameras
some of
and
the
stuff
talent
like
too.
that. Exactly. So I think like, I guess the main thing I want to look at as far as what would have happened if there was no AEW is looking at the like kind of the ramifications of that first All In event because that was like in some ways kind of a catalyst for AEW.
It was. Well,
and so it's like so if you remove Tony Khan getting involved in pro wrestling to the extent that he is now, the main thing you have to look at is, well, what would have come off the back of All In, aside from like especially now where we're looking at all this Forbidden Door stuff. You have companies actually more actively working together. I think we would have gotten something like that eventually. I think we would have gotten it right around now, like.
Right.
Assuming all other events happen as they did, aside from AEW being formed. Like, I'm not going to pretend that we suddenly didn't have a pandemic, for example.
That's factored in too.
All other things being equal, we probably would have seen ROH and Impact get more of like a push off of the back of this kind of stuff. Because if you look at it, like Impact is starting to get more exposure. Steadily getting more exposure because of these, because of the various appearances coming in from AEW and New Japan, and like heck, next month's Bound for Glory, it's been promoted as being kind of it's being promoted as a big deal because of people from AEW, New Japan, et cetera,
Yeah.
AAA all coming in as
Yeah,
well. So
yeah.
it's like, I guess it's just a matter of figuring out where that central hub of that interconnectivity would
So-
have come from, if not from AEW.
So think about, and I'm with you on that. Like I feel like that would have been that catalyst, right? Because you had this thing where everybody came together on an event for the most part, of course, spearheaded by the Bucks and Cody. Without AEW happened, maybe they stuck around and still did like Japan and Ring of Honor kind of situations, right? I think you would have had like a Forbidden Doors thing, because remember, Ring of Honor was already doing co-branded shows at Madison Square Garden with New
you could have
Japan.
called the company the Forbidden Door.
Oh, there's that too. But I'm saying there's no company right at that point, right?
Right.
So like maybe they do this and nothing else came of it. Nothing got put on the table that says that. Maybe it turns into Cody and the Bucks become a more integral part of Ring of Honor, or that idea of them purchasing it, like we talked about, right? Man, I the only thing that bothers me about that idea of them purchasing Ring of Honor is, one, they would need a Tony Kahn, I think, to do it, right? Potentially, because they need, like, they I don't think they have the money to have purchased an entire company like that. But also, like, to my awareness, Sinclair is extremely satisfied with Ring of Honor's position, right? For whatever we think about it, but for them it works. Also, it's a very old style thinking company.
Yeah.
It's working on a model from 50 years ago, very frankly. So I don't know on that side. I can tell you with that, I don't know that we have something quite as exciting. I don't think we have something that's drawing your CM Punk. I don't think you bring CM Punk back into the business without AEW, because for that was.
I think eventually he would have come back.
I really don't. I'm a no
as
on
long
that.
as long as there was some other entity that proved themselves a viable alternative to WWE, he would have come back eventually.
I mean,
even if it's like Impact and Ring of Honor running a super show together, or
maybe
something like that.
Maybe with New
because
Japan
like,
and
honestly,
everything.
we had talked about that years ago.
Yeah.
Like, if Impact and Ring of Honor just like stopped competing with each other and started working together, and that's essentially what AEW is.
So does your production and everything that was good about Ring of Honor sticks around with Ring of Honor, helps build that up, perhaps, right? Same with me with Impact when they're rebuild, and then. I don't think Daniel Bryan leaves WWE. I think Adam Cole sticks around for whatever that path is, because there's nothing else at that point. He did a Ring of Honor already. He's not going to Impact. Impact's not big enough for them to attract them at that point, out of a WWE contract at least. So like I think that would be it. I don't know, and honestly, I feel like the current NXT change up is a symptom of AEW existing.
I see a lot of people are. We haven't really talked about this yet. A lot of people are making a huge deal out of the NXT logo changing.
Mm-hmm.
When, if you look at Raw and SmackDown, this is pretty much old hat. In fact, it's probably happened way too late for NXT. Like, Raw and SmackDown would change their logos and their designs and their staging.
Are people mad about the logo or the promise of a
Yes.
new era and that Bruce and Vince are now involved?
That's debunked.
That's debunked?
Debunked. That wasn't true.
Oh, so that's not a so
That's-
Paul's still
that's
involved.
That's
okay.
not true.
Good.
Hey, I
Good.
think I think the reason people are in such a for lack of a better word, a hissy fit over the logo is because to them it reflects for some reason for quite a few people the look of the logo possibly reflects, like, it's almost a mirror reflection of what they're expecting as an entire change to how NXT is presented. But the problem with that is we don't know. We don't actually know, except for I think like they showed a teaser of the new NXT on SmackDown, I think last week or something like that.
Yeah.
And there's like a still image floating around of like a real brief glimpse of what potentially the new like arena setup is. And I think it's an interesting look. I think it might actually be a little bit of an improvement on the CWC from the. I feel like ever since NXT started bringing back in actual like proper sized crowds, the allure of the CWC has been lost on me a little bit.
The pandemic hit NXT the hardest,
Yeah.
in my opinion, because it hit NXT the hardest because they weren't able to have a big spacious arena like AEW was every week. Daly's Place was a perfect venue for pandemic wrestling.
Yes.
It was an absolutely perfect venue for pandemic wrestling because you could have people stationed there, you can get actual crowd noise, and it was outdoors.
Yeah.
So even if you wanted to bring in small clusters of people, you heard actual crowd noise, and you could have all of your 15,000 other talents that you have on your YouTube shows hanging out ringside to, to also put over your product. WWE tried that. Remember on Raw when they had the NXT people there? That didn't work. So we went to the Thunderdome. The Thunderdome works fine for Raw and SmackDown because the Thunderdome was a fully built thing.
It was big and grand, and that's the point of those shows.
Huge. Yeah, but NXT was always like the thing that made NXT so special was the fans, was the fan reaction. You take that away from NXT, and the video screens don't do it justice because, spoiler alert, those were never live fans. If you were in the Thunderdome, you never got emails to join the Thunderdome live for NXT because they didn't do that. Like, if you did, maybe it's a little bit
Are we sure?
different.
Because there was a very specific, like NXT had their own like ticket email thing for the locals.
Yeah, there might have
Like,
been.
I think
stuff,
if it
but-
happened, it happened just amongst the locals since they can only take so many people in comparison.
Right.
So,
but like the video screens were never like live people.
No.
They never worked because
so-
like you'd see some of the same people just repeating over it.
So we're
over and
diverging
over.
again. I want to kind of bring it back around on this. I don't want to relitigate the COVID era. But so actually, let's roll into this. We kind of talked about Bryan and Cole. Where they would be during this what if segment. Let's roll out from the what if. What are your thoughts on both Cole and Bryan Danielson? I'm trying to get used to saying his old name. So although he has the Y now, he didn't have the Y originally, right? Correct.
No, he did.
Okay, he did. Oh,
He's
okay.
always had it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I wasn't. I'm just remember.
I think that's actually how his name is spelled.
okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Can't trademark that. I see Adam Cole already has a new Twitch channel, or has been twitching.
No, he's never stopped his Twitch channel.
Oh, good. Good for him.
He
Yeah,
never
that's like
stopped
one of the
it.
key things about the health.
Good.
deal.
Good. We'll see what happens there. Actually, before I forget, I'm sorry to cut you off, Alex, but I want to get this idea out of my head from earlier. Because I know, Mike, out of all of this, you were probably the most upset about the up, down breakup that's happened because of this, correct? But I do have to say, and this is purely speculation on my part, because I think somebody like Adam Cole may find a nice home with AEW games. Because
But it's not the same, Sorg.
it's not going to be the same.
No,
But what
because
if they-
AEW Games right now doesn't really exist. They put out a shitty casino game. They put out an okay GM game.
Okay.
But the point of it is there's no live streaming. Like everyone does their own thing in AEW,
yeah.
which is kind of the point.
Yes.
They're all allowed to do their own version of live streaming, whatever they want to do.
There has been I can't finger point.
And I don't think Cole would straight up lift Xavier Woods' baby and
No.
make a competing venue for up, down.
I don't know about competing. I think he wants to still.
I think it'd be competing.
I think he wants to still do his thing because he loves doing it. Quite
Yeah, but he
frankly,
never stopped doing
right.
his thing. That's the
so
thing.
as much as Jock Samson doesn't understand it and doesn't know why they're doing it, but it's still something these guys are going to do, right? So I think there's an opportunity, is what I'm saying, for like I would say more or less under AEW Games banner. I mean, AEW Games isn't like a game label necessarily. You know, it's just the label. It's like WWE Games. There's a WWE Games, but that's not THQ. No, but that's not around. 2K Games. It's not 2K Games. It's because there's multiple developers doing WWE Games, and that's just the label they use. I believe that's all what AEW. I could be wrong. But
no, WWE does like have their mobile division too. They have a bunch.
Right, but they farm that out to developers and they put it under
but
WWE
it's still
Games.
under a WWE Games logo. Too.
Right, but that's because that's their license, right? My point is, aside from all that minutia, is I think there's an opportunity because you do have, you got Evil Uno streaming, you got a bunch of people streaming, you got someone like Adam Cole. That again, people know from up, that side of things from up, down, down. I think Kenny and Aubrey, are very directly involved with the AEW Games project. They've been at least attempting to make content around AEW Games under that banner, under that social media. Nothing that I've been too crazy about, to be quite honest, from what I've seen, but also not like a straight up like game playing or something like that. So no, I think there is a possibility you may see in the future.
I don't think so because you need a facility to produce all that stuff.
Did Up, Down, Down have that eventually?
Yeah, they do.
But do they really need to? I mean, that's
no. If you watch the Up, Down, Down stuff, it's very heavily produced.
It is, and I mean, there's you can hire a dude and do it. Like it's not like literally. It's like
no, I know. I don't think that they're going to want to do that though.
I mean,
I don't think specifically Adam Cole would want to do that.
Okay. Maybe he'll just do his Twitch channel and that's it. I don't know. Either way, you're not going to be without content of a video game variety from Adam Cole.
No, but
I guarantee you that.
That's not why I'm upset.
I know it's not your up, down, down. I know it's not the
party.
I'm sorry that the party is broken up and your lore and everything has been broken up now. I mean, I'm never going to see a resolution to Adam Cole not being able to hit the ropes in the toy commercial with Johnny Gargano, which he did on a live stream a week before showing up at All Out, by the way. So, okay.
He'll probably still be on some up, down, down stuff that was already filmed.
Probably likely on the network or something, right? So, anyways, aside from that, but generally, we talked about the swerve. We talked about Bryan at the end. So how are we, Ronnie, Alex? How are we feeling about that? Are they with us?
You're both.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, he's
I was actually just watching Steve from Blue's Clues.
What?
Oh,
Ronnie, pay attention to the fucking show.
What are you doing here? Let's talk about wrestling, man. Get your fucking Blue Clues. Get the fuck out of here with your Blues Clues, Ronnie.
Jesus H. fucking Christ, I'm here.
Ronnie, we just got a finger. I wonder who it's from. All right.
I wonder who it's from.
Yeah, exactly. That was the gimmick.
All right.
Wrestling.
I think that entire ending sequence was fun to see unfold. To be honest, because you have Kenny kind of doing the heel version of his usual spiel. He likes to talk to the crowd at the end of practically every show he's featured on. I've seen it before. I remember from when he was the top star in New Japan. He always does that, and it was just so much fun to see him drop that one minor hint, and then the lights go out, and it's Adam Cole, and you're like, oh my gosh, Adam Cole did show up, especially considering that some dirt sheets are probably still insisting that he's in negotiations with WWE right now. That's just the nature of wrestling media in 2021.
But it is also a quick reminder to get your real news, not real bullshit rumors at justprowrestlingnews.com. Carry on, Alex.
So, you have Adam Cole showing up, and it's great. And you're like, so is Adam Cole showing up to help, to help Christian and all them at the end there? But no, he's joined back up with his family. He's back with the Elite after all these years, and it's such a touching moment, especially if you do watch the being the Elite YouTube show. It's like you know the lore involved with that, and
Yes.
it's just nice to see that coming back around.
Yes, if you're a fan of the Elite, if you're a fan of Old Bullet Club, this was for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
I
then-
still think it's the ghost of Adam Cole. I don't even. I still think he's
Did-
dead
there's
after
nothing
drinking
to
the
it.
energy
Did
drink.
you guys see the seance they were having to bring him back on
did.
BTE?
Yeah,
I
it was so funny.
So-
my favorite. I just to touch on that real quick. My favorite little moment from that is him bringing up Rosita.
yes.
Because it's like, let's run with the kayfabe of BTE for a second. It's like, oh, he's back. He doesn't know what happened to the old Legion Hall and Rosita.
Why,
Oh, that's gonna be a fun conversation.
why
to
do
have.
I taste Monster Energy drink in my mouth?
Gosh. So you had that with Adam Cole, and it's like, that's great. Okay, and so you're like, okay, so we don't get the happy ending for the faces,
Mhm.
because the Elite's like, oh, and then Kenny starts to do his the last thing he always does when he gets on his speeches, and then you have Bryan Danielson come out, and I've seen some people with their opinions about his choice of music, but I don't know. I just feel like you're not always going to get what you want when it comes to that.
Mhm.
So all I can say is I'm sorry they didn't choose the Final Countdown. I happen to like this particular track that they used.
Dude, this track slams. This track fucking slams.
Yeah, like as the cool kids would probably say, I fucks with it. I think that's what the kids say. I don't know. I dig it.
I think the
Is that a
decision.
thing?
I don't know.
Wow, can we add a new segment? Alex Kahrs deciphers what the kids say.
I think we're all in a comically interesting position to say what the kids say on this show.
I do find it funny that Brian used his WWE theme.
Well, yeah.
I just think.
Well,
it's kinda funny.
here's my take on his old Final Cutdown music. Yes, it would have been fantastic to have the AEW crowd singing Final Countdown. Yes, but can we really take that much time every time he comes out for that the beginning of that song?
We do it with Jericho.
We do, but I feel like it's much longer to get to the point of that song.
And by the way,
I recall.
By the way, how is the worst Jericho entrance the one where he had his own guitarist play the song? That entrance was terrible.
I'm glad someone else is bringing it up, because that's another thing that I have questions, because my headphones sometimes get a little weird on me. So I need someone else to confirm this to me. Did it sound like there were some minor audio issues with that guitar playing?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
Maybe there may be a mix kind of weird with it. Is that what you're saying?
Probably something like that. It was just, there was something. There was something just off.
Also,
about
he
it,
was
and I
not.
think-
Well, he was not playing the straight guitar part. He was playing the melodic thing to sing along to, and so
Yeah.
he was one person playing an entire band song. So I would please position that. You know.
But then maybe don't do it and do a full thing like they did with the Lucha Brothers, who that fucking entrance rocked.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That fucking entrance was the shit.
Hey, and on a side note, you know what still trips me out, because I didn't realize this until after the fact, is that Mikey Ruckus, the main guy who does a lot of the music, he coordinates a lot of the music for AEW. He helped perform that song live at All Out. And I was like, okay, cool, that's great.
Is he the CFO money of that?
I was gonna go one better and say he was probably arguably the Jim Johnson of AEW.
That's implying that AEW has a lot of good entrance scenes, which they don't.
Well,
they don't.
That's a separate discussion. I think we'll table that discussion for another time.
It's a lot of tabling and putting a pin on things
Well,
and
I'm
putting
just
Mike
trying
in a
to be-
corner
hey,
tonight. I like this. I
Hey,
like.
like I said,
thank you,
like I said
everybody.
earlier, I'm happy to be here, and I don't want to ruin the mood by getting.
It's another 6 months before he's out. Okay.
But I will say this about both of them coming to AEW. I'm happy for them. I'm happy that they seem happy and excited to be in wrestling. I do worry that, because I mean, we haven't even gotten to maybe Bray Wyatt, maybe this time next year, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, other people whose contracts are expiring. If I was an AEW, like a person who was there day one, I'd be concerned.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be concerned because as of right now, like just about all of the matches at All Out had at least one person that wasn't there 6 months ago. Just about all those matches. And that would be concerning because like a lot of the AEW like homegrown is a weird way to put it, even though none of them were technically grown there. They were all relegated to the pre-show.
Mm-hmm.
I would be. It's not something to freak out about. It's something to keep an eye on though, because you only have so much time.
I understand that. I'm with you, and this is a question, and I am curious how they're going to work this out, and balance all of this. But I am really looking forward to the ride. To this,
and also like, and I think Dave said it earlier. There's not a lot of diversity at the top.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that being called out, and
there isn't like.
That's something AEW definitely needs figured out, for sure.
Because it's a lot of white guys.
Yes,
it's a lot of white guys.
A lot of white guys, and whatever Darby Allin is with that face paint.
No,
he's a tree person. I think he's a tree person this week. I'm not sure.
But like, it's a lot. It's a lot at the top, and you gotta say this: if you're comparing apples and apples, WWE, Lashley at the top, Roman Reigns at the top, Damian Priest at the top. You know, like WWE hasn't beat there in spades.
Absolutely,
and that's normally something we don't say about WWE.
No,
but they have been getting better at doing that. Like.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
But yeah, AEW seriously needs to work on it because when your closest thing to representation at the top of your card is Miro, you should really take a look.
Hey, Christian Cage is Canadian.
Canadian doesn't count, so is Kenny Omega.
Canadian doesn't count.
It doesn't.
Hey, two Canadians were that maybe
Sorg, if anything, Canadian is more white.
Okay.
I was gonna say we're not talking about nationalities here. We're talking about
sure. Okay.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay. No, I'm with you. You know, and that is something that needs to develop, and as they bring people up and everything. But no, absolutely.
Because like I don't think there was a person of color who had a singles match on that show.
Now you got me racking my brain on that one.
I don't think there was.
Huh.
Eddie Kingston, would be the closest.
Yeah.
But like, and even then, they opened the show.
Yeah.
Eddie Kingston and a couple ladies that were in the Casino Battle Royale.
I'm talking singles matches.
Oh, singles matches. You're right.
Yeah, singles matches. Like,
yeah,
that's true. You can't recount the Battle Royal because it's like we threw everybody in here.
Oh, and by the way, AEW, figure out what the fuck you're doing with Kara Hogan. All right, like she's been on for a couple weeks and has jobbed every single time.
No, she got her first win Monday, by the way. So that triggers.
But
she's
she
going
got
somewhere.
No, it doesn't. Look, she got treated like shit in the Casino Battle Royal.
Okay, but
and for the record, so did Hikaru Shida.
Well, technically, she got that win at Wednesday's taping. Therefore, I don't know.
Also, Riho actually didn't get eliminated, and is now in a similar boat as Eddie Kingston was that other time. So hopefully, we actually see a storyline.
Oh, can't wait for that! Can't wait for the undefeated.
Hey, you know
Riho.
what? If that leads to Rio versus Ruby Soho, I'm in.
I'm over here. I'm really over Rio. Give me more Shida or what is the one that I just watched on Elevation last night? The one that does the King gimmick and has
Amy Sakura?
Yeah, Sakura. Give me her. Or let's be honest, bring back Maki Ito.
Well, yeah, obviously.
I
Or
mean,
put Big Swole on TV. Now.
Everything. Give me Britt Baker versus Maki Ito for the championship.
Listen, I only want everything. That's all I want.
I only want more Maki Ito in my life. Anyways, I gotta figure out where I'm gonna put my Maki Ito sticker. I've got those in from WrestleRoo, I think it was. From she did all the stickers of the Japanese AEW Women's Tournament.
Excellent.
Got
That was
those in.
all on YouTube when it should not have been.
Regardless, it's fantastic. But no, the stickers are great. The stickers are great. I just trying to figure out what to do with them. What is the proper way to display these things? So I almost think a frame. But anyways, so a lot of stuff happening there. We will defer, and maybe some stuff will come up about WWE in this. Guys, what did you learn from wrestling this week? Side note, what did you learn from Jock Samson tonight?
Oh, Sorg, I'll go first with what I learned from wrestling this week. I learned that WWE and Netflix have a new project.
What is this? I don't know this. I don't know. The groans are great. That's a good indication.
I think it's gonna be fun.
Okay.
Hold on. I want to get the exact. Okay, this is This is gonna be great. I'm going to read you the title of the news article, and I want put the camera on yourself as I read this, because I want to make sure we record your reaction.
Okay, I'm here.
WWE and Netflix announce interactive horror film starring The Undertaker and The New Day. Yes, that's what I was hoping for.
The fuck?
Yes.
That's a sentence? That's a
That is
real
a sentence.
sentence? Oh, so
That
is The Undertaker making an appearance on Friday?
I don't know.
I thought I saw something about that.
Who knows? In case of
Releasing
emergency, break the dead glass.
By the way, so wait, is this an official?
It's an official thing.
Is this an
It's a
official
real
pic?
thing.
Wait, is this an official picture I'm seeing on the article? Because
Everything you're seeing is
So there's What is what?
I don't care. I'm here for it.
It's a picture of all three of the New Day in just like kind of sweats, and the Undertaker has a hammer like he's working on something, and they're just looking at him. It's going to be October 5th, so we don't have to wait long. We'll try to escape the
Sorg.
Undertaker. So
Sorg, I think we do a watch along.
Hey,
I agree.
Hey, you know what this basically is? It's basically a spiritual successor to the New Day fighting at the Wyatt compound. That's what this is.
I thought this was a picture of the Wyatt compound match.
I know, that's what it
when I
reminded me
first
of,
saw
too.
it.
Like,
Then I'm like, why is it?
WWE
Did they cut that picture and an Undertaker together
and they just
somehow?
photoshopped the Undertaker.
Like that's what I thought, you know. And then I looked, I'm like, oh no, this is an original picture.
It's WWE Bandersnatch, and I am fucking here for it.
And it's interactive.
That's the
Yeah,
that's the
it's
name of it.
interactive.
I was like, it's like that. It's like that one Black Mirror thing that they did.
Honestly, there's
Yeah,
probably only
Bandersnatch.
there's probably only gonna be 4 endings. I don't care. I'm still here for it because
Jeez.
New Day and Taker have never turned out bad stuff.
What is this Undertaker in front of a bunch of monitors situation
Yeah.
that I'm seeing here?
I don't know. I'm here for it.
Is
The
Undertaker
Undertaker
going-
wants to play a game. That's
Is
what
this is this like Undertaker Saw? Is that what's happening
I
here?
kind of hope that's what it is.
Like
I
feels
hope
like
so.
it feels like
Jigsaw or Taker.
Undertaker
The Jigsaw
operates.
Taker.
Turns out Undertaker with his off time has started an escape room project, and the New Day are partaking. So
You know what? If that's what it is, I'm okay with
listen.
I'm on board with
we filmed
everything to do
PB
with this.
Smooth and Duke Davis of the main event going through Scarehouse a few years ago. I think if you go watch that video, that might be a preview of this
it.
situation.
Sorg, here's what I'm thinking. If this blows up on Netflix, which I think it will, this is one step closer to the Saska sisters doing the Undertaker and Kane story.
Saska sisters should do everything. The Saska sisters should have done every cinematic match the WWE has done so far.
Oh my god. Fuck.
Let's be
That would be
honest about
great.
this one. Yes.
Yeah, let's be really
Yes.
real about it. Yeah.
Yes. The Boneyard match brought to you by the Saska sisters. Because
Oh my god.
yes.
By the
They,
way,
but if you don't know, they did See No Evil 2.
See No Evil
which
2.
was the better of the two See No Evils.
Which is saying something because See No Evil 1 is pretty good.
Yeah, as a horror movie goes, it's pretty
It's pretty good.
Pretty great, actually.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It was
Kane does a wonderful job.
yes. Honestly, like that was like one of the first movies that you didn't groan at
No.
from WWE films. We're
No,
like,
not at all. No.
you know,
No, it was done like you groaned when they tried to bring in Jacob Goodnight on WWE programming.
yes.
the May 19th and all that stuff. That was terrible.
You
The movie itself was
winced a
actually really
little.
good.
You winced a little at the masturbation scene, but it's like, well, okay, this is kind of on par for these kind of movies. So
It fit the character.
Yes.
If anything, it fit the character. But yeah, it was
understandable. Ronnie, what'd you learn?
I'm excited about it.
Ronnie, what'd you learn from wrestling this week, or Jock Samson?
What did I learn? Well, Jock Samson is a national treasure.
Yes.
And
Fucking
I don't care what
national
anybody
treasure.
says.
Yes.
I love the guy. I pop for him. So he's great. What did I learn from wrestling? AEW is a better product than WWE any day of the week.
Mhm.
And I know at 2 o'clock in the morning, Mike wanted to fight with me about it, but
I didn't want to fight with you about it.
you were trying to get me riled up, and I'm like, I'm going to bed, dude.
No,
Shut
you
the
were
fuck up.
riling yourself up. No. 'Cause
I love
Your
whatever.
question was about exposure,
Mm-hmm.
and I will still argue that if you want more exposure, WWE is going to give you that. It may not be the exposure you want. It may not be the most creative, but you will, just by virtue of their presence in all of media and social media, you will get more eyes on you on WWE programming. Like, it doesn't mean it's a better product,
Mm-hmm.
but if you want exposure, that's where you go.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, you ain't gonna have creative freedom. Fuck no.
No.
If
but-
anything, you're going to be creatively stifled. But but if you want more eyes on you, that's where you go.
Mhm.
Like there's a reason Brock Lesnar didn't go to AEW.
Mhm.
There's a reason. He wants eyes on him. He wants that money. He knows where his bread is buttered.
But I think we can all agree that wrestling is fun right now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh hell yeah!
Oh yeah.
Mm.
The most
Oh,
fun has been in a while.
And I did learn one other thing before we let Alex go. Karrion Kross is what Vince McMahon thought Aleister Black was.
Oh.
I saw your tweet earlier today.
Mhm.
You were saying that. Yeah.
I don't even want to say it. It's gonna make me sad. I don't even want to see it.
It's bad.
I'm so after. Here's what. Okay. Here's. Well, Alex, let me hear what you learned, and then I'm gonna do a thing here.
Right. So what I learned in wrestling, aside from all the exciting, and this is actually kind of a follow. It's kind of big piggybacking off of what Ronnie said about AEW just generally having a better product. But I learned something very, I guess I kind of understood something about this, and it's wrestling adjacent. I have learned in the past week or so that there is precisely one network that is not giving me what I really want, which is the ability to watch my wrestling show at the same time as my friends on the East Coast. Now hear me out on this. Here's the situation.
Okay.
As you guys know,
Where?
I moved. I recently moved you know?
Yes.
So I moved and I got I had to basically get a completely different deal on internet and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have cable to the extent that I did when I lived in my old place. So I have YouTube TV. That's what I have. That's my cable. That's my option for how I watch television now.
Okay.
And I've discovered over the last couple weeks actually that TNT, like the streaming app and the their website where you can go watch the shows, that allows you to watch the East Coast feed as well as the West Coast feed, which is great for watching AEW. Now and especially now that I know that YouTube TV is one of the providers that allows you to do that, I can actually watch AEW Dynamite and Rampage at the same time as people as everybody else is basically watching it. So I can actually interact with my friends and talk about it live, at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
When SmackDown went to Fox in a couple years ago, when they moved SmackDown to Fox, they had announced that you could watch live from the East Coast feed through the Fox Sports app, which is also helpful because of the couple times a year they have to move it to Fox. We've seen them move
FS1
to FS1 for the actual broadcast because of sports on Fox.
Yeah.
But through the Fox Sports app, you can watch
You're good to go.
And you're good to go there. USA Network, which carries Monday Night Raw, and over the last couple of years, last year or so, last couple years, they've been carrying NXT.
Yeah.
They don't have that. If you go to the USA website or even on their app or whatever, you can watch TV live. That's fine. But you, at least at the moment, you're locked to the time zone that, like, I guess your cable login or whatever it is. So I can't watch the East Coast feed of
and so
USA Network
those that
that
don't
way.
know, because this wowed me out when I was on the West Coast and watching Raw. Like it's presented as if it's live, even though it isn't. Like as we see it live to television, like it is put out as if it is live for the West Coast feed, even though it's absolutely like 3 hours later, right?
Right.
So like that's wild that they even do that, and they do a fake live basically for stuff like that.
And it's and sometimes it's even more wild when Raw that week is somewhere's on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Because you went to go to the actual live taping of Raw, you're watching it at like 5 o'clock roughly your time.
You
until
could,
8 o'clock.
depending on your location, you could go watch the live Monday Night Raw in your stadium, go home and watch most of it.
On TV,
yeah. That's weird.
But yeah,
That's
no.
weird.
So USA Network doesn't let me. So I'm like, come on, USA, come on, just give me what I want. You know what I want. I want to be able to watch Raw and NXT live with my friends, and then that way I might even be able to enjoy it a little bit more. Who knows?
Yeah,
because
who knows?
Right now, all I get is like I get trickled down information from my friends that talk about it on Twitter and Discord and whatnot, and that's my source of information, and I have to discern whether or not I actually want to bother watching Raw or NXT. And kind of going back to the conversation we had earlier about the big revamp and the rebranding of NXT, I'm a little nervous. I'm also excited to watch it, but I'd be even more excited if I could actually watch it at the same time as my friends on the East Coast.
Be
So
part
that's
of
my
that.
plea to you, USA Network, because I know you're watching this show.
Absolutely.
On Facebook
What's up,
Live and
USA
and
Network?
whatnot.
Yes. Also, bring back Burn Notice.
Sorg, hold on. I found a description for the Undertaker Netflix.
Okay, real quick.
It's called Escape the Undertaker.
Yes.
In this interactive film featuring WWE superstars, The Undertaker has set a trap for the decorated tag team New Day at his mansion. What they don't know, The Undertaker's mansion is an extreme haunted house, packed to the brim with supernatural challenges. It's up to the viewers to decide the fate of these three poor souls trying to survive the wrath of The Undertaker.
If one of the endings isn't just them enjoying some pancakes with The Undertaker, I don't know what the fuck we're doing here.
It has to be. It has to be.
So two things I've learned. First of all, I don't give a flying fuck what happens on Mondays on WWE anymore after this weekend. I have less than zero interest in Monday Night Raw. Still want to check out SmackDown and stuff, right?
Oh, SmackDown is doing some good shit with Paul Heyman, by the way.
Oh yeah, I definitely need to see that.
And we're teasing the return of the Demon.
Ronnie, I'm glad you're here because I have endeavored, as I think I've told you, on a toy finding mission.
What are you looking for?
Well, nothing in particular. Yes, in particular. I've decided that my toy collecting mission will be, and nothing in particular, like if I go to Walmart, Target, or something, I'm going to check the pegs. If I find a friend of the show, I must purchase them. Unless it's something I have, obviously. That's why I do have an Elias Pop that I bought at the Exchange several weeks ago before AEW here in Pittsburgh. But I was in Tennessee and saw the largest collection of WWE figures ever. Like, they were on the pegs a lot. They must have just got stocked, and there was an entire end cap of shelves that was just deep with action figures. And somewhere in the back, I found a good old friend of the show that owes Mad Mike a championship match. One Ray Rowe, Eric. So we got that. I think it really captures his essence. With that
Definitely captures his anger.
Yeah, it really does.
That's a really good head sculpt.
But I did. I was bouncing around, just kind of wasting time on Sunday. Found myself in the park eating some Chipotle, just enjoying the day before All Out. And I was like, well, I'm near a Walmart. Let's see what they got. So I'm looking. It's a paltry paltry look of pegs. All those Drew McIntyre peg warmers sitting there. There's a lot. There was like 20 Drew McIntyres. So I don't know what that says, other than they bought too many, or I don't know. So I'm sitting there, and then this employee comes up, and I'm checking out whatever, and he's got a box, and I'm looking, and I was like, what are the freaking odds? And anytime I go to Walmart,
Was it Gwyneth Paltrow's head?
all you can find, well, that was one of the options in my head. All I ever find is 1 or 2 AEW championship belts, and that is it. Just like the Young Bucks on BT, right? It's just they can't keep them in stock. So there's this little box, and I'm just like, I wonder, what are the odds? So I'm hanging around. I'm looking at the Shang-Chi figures and whatever's around, and here he pulls out AEW figures and puts them on the pegs. And it is the entirety, turns out, the entirety of the Series 1 Unmatched collection. And that includes one friend of the show, Britt Baker.
Jealous.
With the...
I was too when he texted me.
With the jacket. I also got eyes on, they have an LJN Cody Rhodes.
Of course they do, because every line has to have a Cody.
But
the LJN's really cool,
wait,
dude.
it's an LJN Wrestling
Sorg,
Classic.
No, I get it. Cody has enough figures.
But it's
I
an
don't care.
LJN Wrestling Classic version.
Yeah, I get it. Cody has enough figures.
But
It's really cool though, bro. Like,
it's really cool.
But
Yeah.
Cody has enough fucking figures.
Okay. Well, you know what? If he's allowed to. Also, Dustin has a bunch of them too, apparently. No, it's
He's
got,
five now.
so they had Omega, they had Darby, they had Miro, they had Dustin and Cody in there.
You,
with
and you
Cody was
didn't
a
pick
special
up
edition.
Miro?
No, because we haven't interviewed
For
Miro. I did see
shame.
Miro in person because he was
For
two
shame,
boosts down from Britt, and Mick Foley was in the middle. Yeah, so there you go. Got my unmatched Britt Baker situation here.
See, Mike, fun story about Sorg's AEW figure hunts. He sent me a picture of the pegs of everybody else, and I said, the only one I want is Britt Baker, but I guarantee that's the one he grabbed. And he's like, yep.
Yeah. Oh,
Yep.
but I forgot. I just shared this in our Slack. I too found some extremely hard to find wrestling figures.
Mm-hmm.
Show me what you got.
Let's see.
Oh no, what is that? What is this? Hold on, I'm gonna
That's
try.
some knockoffs, dude.
Are those
Yeah.
knockoffs?
Well,
Yeah.
they're kind of knock-ons because the head sculpts, I think, are the same,
Oh no.
but the body sculpts are different.
That's
I-
awesome.
I gotta ask.
I dropped it in the Slack.
So
There
these
we
are
go.
Ultimate Warrior Power GR Flex Force. That looks a lot like Rey Mysterio right there.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know about
What
some of these
store
other
did you
guys.
find
There's a
these from?
chainsaw and a ladder. It's a 4-pack that you'll see at
Okay.
at $1. This has to be a Dollar General, right?
No, that
No, it's like a knockoff toy store that just showed up in our mall.
Oh Lord, put those
Jeez.
back on the
Is this
shelf,
as
please.
good as?
I almost grabbed all of them.
Is this
I'm
as
not
good
gonna
as?
lie.
Is this as good as when I was in Thailand and I found it was a 4 or 5-pack superhero pack, but it had like Superman and Captain America, and it had like
Well, sounds
so.
like you had the endless tussle.
I was-
Yeah, the
So,
endless tussle.
Look at this. Wait, is this The Rock? He's got a
That's definitely
tattoo
The
like
Rock.
The
Yes.
Rock, but he's got
Yeah.
definitely a head of Stone Cold
It's either
Steve
The Rock or
Austin.
Damien Demento. I'm not sure which.
What is that? That guy looks
Mhm.
like Chris Jericho in a
and
picture.
Batista with the belly button tattoo.
Yeah, he is. Oh my, John Cena with pants. That looks like a
I-
Sheamus.
And that's
need
definitely
them.
Sheamus. That's the only one I definitely recognize.
You bought these, right?
No, I haven't. If
You
I
better
see
not. You
them,
better-
if I see
you
them
better put
again,
it back on the shelf.
if I see
and-
them again,
yeah.
I'm going to see how much they are.
Dude, I need them.
Get
If
me-
they're,
yeah,
if they're
you
like
might
$10 a piece, I need
All
them.
right, Roddy, you know what? Next time I see them, I'll get them for you, and I'll have Sorg bring them back.
Also,
Yes.
no points of articulation on these things. Like,
No,
there's-
0 points of
Oh
articulation.
no, there's like two
yeah, there's like
on,
2.
on each of the
The
elbows.
legs, the
Yes.
legs.
No,
here.
not the legs.
All
the,
right, guys.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us on an extremely long edition of Wrestling Mayhem Show. But what else is going to happen here?
I blame Jock Samson.
big thanks to Jock Samson for joining us. Your Emperor of West Virginia, I think he's called himself. The Imperial Champion again, Pro Wrestling Conquest on pay-per-view here this Friday at IndieWrestling.live. Please join us there if you're not joining us in person. Really appreciate it. It'll be our first pay-per-view with this company. So looking forward to that. Thank you, Mad Mike. 4883 on the tweets.
Apparently, Ron Funches has been booked in a wrestling match.
Of course he has. I saw he was on commentary, and it was driving people nuts because he was teamed with Kevin Gill.
He has a match coming up against Tony Dippin.
Oh my. Friend of the Sorgs, Ron Funches. We had a good conversation that one time about the wrestles. Ronnie Starks, what are you doing?
Nothing really. I don't think I have anything going on.
Okay, all right.
Follow me on the Twitter at Starks Wrestling, or on the Book of Faces.
Yes,
pretty easy to find.
Yes,
and stuff and things.
You're sharing things.
And look for him at your local spoopy store.
There you go. And Alex Kahrs out there on the West Coast. Somebody get him his East Coast wrestling with OccupyProWrestling.com.
Alex, just borrow someone's cable login and just watch it live.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So I'm pretending to know what the hell I'm doing on TikTok.
Good.
Doing things for Occupy Pro Wrestling. It's been a discussion between me and my buddies, and we've started to realize that short form content is actually surprisingly doing well for us, at least as far as exposure goes. That's been fun. I'm also doing. I'm very much doing a big revamp of the actual website, so I'm got some things sorted out. But yeah, I would recommend until I've finished the revamp on the website to just follow us on the Twitters and other socials, including TikTok now at @Power2 the Smarts, and yeah. Happy to be on. Happy to talk wrestling with you guys.
Thank you, everybody. Again, I'll be down there in West Virginia. Also, if you're going to the Barrel and Flow Festival, or beer festival here in Pittsburgh, I will be there doing some live streaming. I don't know what closet they're going to be putting me in doing that. Looking at those, I'll be there Saturday working on that. And our friends, our crew will be representing at Rise Wrestling this Saturday, which I believe is co-branded Taiga Style, because Lee Moriarty is returning to Pittsburgh and his home promotion Rise. So go check that out. And lots of friends of the show, including our friends The Runway, are a part of that. So that's going to be a really big one. You can only see that here in person Saturday night in Baldwin, Pennsylvania, just outside of Pittsburgh, very close to Pittsburgh. It's practically Pittsburgh, let's be honest. So we'll see you guys next time. Mayhem out. I'm at Sorgatron. Yeah, go follow me too at Mayhem out.
Just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Don't give up what you want, take it back. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Do what you
This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.